If you read all of the legal pundits, all of the legal scholars today, there's not one that I see that said this is a case that should be brought or tried. It's a scam. It's a political witch hunt.
All right, let's bring in our legal panel for a lot more on this historic day. Former federal prosecutors David Weinstein and Joseph Moreno. Great to have both of you with us. Joseph, I'd like to start with you. Jury selection could take up to a week. Trump has said he has no chance of getting a fair and impartial jury, pointing out that just 12% of voters in Manhattan cast their ballots for him in 2020. Does he have a point?
Hey, Elizabeth. Well, you put your finger on it. I mean, this is going to be quite the circus. He's got a point. I'm not sure how much it helps him. He can say that something like 87% of Manhattanites identify as potential Biden voters. But again, at the end of the day, all he can do is try to kind of vet them out and try to ask individual potential jurors what their political leanings are, and ultimately, can they be fair? And it's actually, I think it's a promising thing that some number of them self-identified to say, you know what, right, I just can't do it. I actually admire that.
Yeah, David, what did you think about that? Like, literally half said can't do it, no thanks.
I admire their honesty. As Joseph said, look, part of our system is our people being honest with us, because as lawyers, we have to ask these jurors, and this is the only time we can ask them, be honest with us. Can you be fair? Because if you can't be fair, I don't want you serving on the jury panel. But these people were honest, and so I think that's admirable. And it's going to cut down the number of people who are going to come in there and have a preconceived notion. Remember, as much as he wants an acquittal across the board on all 34 counts, if it's only 13% of the people who favored him to begin with, he only needs one juror who has a strong enough backbone to hold out throughout this whole thing, because for him, a mistrial is as good as a not guilty.
Absolutely. A prosecutor needs all those jurors, a unanimous verdict. Defense needs just one to say, not so fast, not so sure. Okay, David, Trump is charged with falsifying documents to hide a sex scandal with an adult film star. These felony charges bring with them a possible sentence of 4 years. Some legal analysts call this a, quote, Frankenstein case. They say it's basically a misdemeanor dressed up as a felony. Do you agree?
I think it's a series of acts of misconduct, which if there were one or two, they would have left them alone as misdemeanors. But the more and more you put them together, the heavier and heavier the amount of straw and hay in the bucket becomes, the more it breaks the camel's back. And so by the time you get to 34, it's not just a misdemeanor or so, it's a number of them, and it does fit into the format of making it a felony. I agree, perhaps it's overkill, but it fits into the form.
Joseph, what about you? Do you think this is overkill?
Yes, I do. I think that the bridge that Alvin Bragg has to jump here is that he's tying a New York State books and records misdemeanor with a 2-year statute of limitation with a federal campaign finance violation, which is not even within his purview to prosecute.
Right.
That's in the field of federal prosecutors, and they passed on this case. I also think he has stacked these charges. This is effectively a single transaction, and he has turned it into 34 felonies, I think, for headline grabbing. So I think it's borderline disgraceful what Bragg has done here.
Joseph, I set up in the intro the colorful, I'll use that word, colorful cast of characters we're going to see in the witness box. Among them, the star witness is Michael Cohen, a convicted felon with some serious credibility issues. How do you think jurors are going to find him? Will they believe him?
They're not going to find him very convincing, I think. He is a convicted perjurer. So, and he's at the heart of this case. So I think that, and that's another, real risk that Bragg is taking, that's your star witness. And again, federal prosecutors in New York under both the Trump administration and the Biden administration looked at this case, looked at the fact that Cohen would be their central focus of this case. And again, they passed on this.
Yeah.
I mean, the Federal Election Commission doesn't even consider what Trump has done here as a campaign contribution. So there's a lot here to be really, really wary of.
David, former President Trump has said he may take the stand in his own defense. He didn't go well for him when he did that in the E. Jean Carroll case. It was a civil case. And he also had a problem in that courtroom controlling himself in his outbursts in court. How will his lawyers manage him, do you think? He's got Todd Blanchett aside, who's a much more experienced attorney this time.
He is the biggest of all wild cards here. Look, he has a story he wants to tell. He is going to fight to tell that story. He believes that this is his opportunity to fight back against what he's calling a witch hunt, and they literally are going to have to sit on him to keep him from testifying. Many times it does you no benefit to have your client take the stand because you've been able to hammer away during cross-examination at, as Joseph pointed out, witnesses whose credibility was not that great, a case that is hinging upon one single transaction. And so it's often best to get the client to just sit down and be quiet and let his lawyers carry him through this. But for one, this is a defendant who does not like to follow the advice of his lawyers. We've seen this all blow up against him in the past, and he will, I believe, prove to be his own worst enemy. He might be the one who snatches defeat from the jaws of victory.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.